I want to welcome Denise Rhymes, your Vice Moderator, who will deliver the Board of Trustees report. Denise?
Thanks, Jim, and I'll make my report short. What Jim said. Let me take a few minutes to add a few things on behalf of the Board of Trustees. It's with great humility that I stand before you and represent the board, having just come onto the board in February as the result of the resignation of one of our beloved colleagues. I have had a marvelous experience being brought up to speed with all of the activities from the board this year. The relationship of the board and the administration has evolved into one that is blessed with covenant, collaboration, and commitment. Last year's board reflected the growing pains of a smaller board and the ongoing implementation of policy governance. And while this past year has not been without its challenges, we're beginning to hit our stride with some clarity and real sense of purpose. As cultural and political issues take deeper and deeper root, our board adapts quickly to the changing needs within society and within our faith movement. We have a number of working groups who, in between board meetings, work to educate us and further the work that we have limited time to do when we're together. Our Inclusion and Empowerment Working Group assures that we keep our ears to the ground on issues that intersect with our values. In our October 2015 board retreat, we had a conversation about our dedication and commitment to Black Lives Matter. We began to consider how our UUA and its member congregations might strengthen and expand our commitment to Black Lives Matter. For those of you that were here last year and were part of the AIW on Black Lives Matter, we had a very difficult conversation. We in the board recalled and discussed our experience of that GA General Session and that AIW, and we truly regret that the process in place, the limited time, and the racism that we are all still working to root out inflamed debate and frankly brought out the worst in many of us. People were hurt. Lines were drawn in the sand and old wounds were opened. We know this work is full of heartbreak, and we must find the will and use our learning in order to do a better job. We've met with a number of groups and talked about how we make these linkages, and we've gone even further based on the work of the Empowerment and Inclusion Working Group, where we've engaged in one another in intimate and inspiring conversations about prejudice against the trans community and what is required of us in response to all of the anti-trans legislation being proposed across our country. As Jim has told you and as others have told you, we are working very hard to amplify generosity and stewardship, both through our traditional channels and through our collaboration with staff. Moderator Key, as you just heard, as part of our effort to expand the circle of those able to come to General Assembly, established a scholarship fund, and we have a number of delegates who are able to join us this year as a result of that fund. And we're supporting with great enthusiasm the Generosity Network, where we'll help to build relationships with congregations to help them be more generous with the UUA. Something that you might not know, in January of this year, unless you're a minutes geek, which I am, in January of this year, the board authorized a board-restricted innovation fund that sets aside unrestricted bequests to provide the administration funds for new and creative initiatives. In other important votes this year, we helped to set aside funds for maintenance of our new building at 24 Farnsworth. We've had a strong focus on risk management, a tricky subject projecting what could happen and what we will do in case those things or that thing does happen. We've done an intensive study of the wages that we pay, and I'm very pleased to report that everyone who is employed by the Unitarian Universalist Association makes at or above a $15 minimum wage. Not only have we balanced the budget in conjunction with the work of the administration, but we have taken a look at the budget through a racial justice lens, and we're convinced that while we still have a ways to go, the UUA is making solid progress towards becoming a credible partner in this work. We're working in a variety of ways to strengthen our covenant of Unitarian Universalism. In a few minutes, you'll hear from Reverend Dr. Susan Ritchie about our Renewing Covenant Task Force and ways that we might better be in discernment and relationship with one another. We were very pleased to learn that one of our new covenanting communities, the UU Cooperative Communities, which created the Lucy Stone Cooperative, and the new Margaret Mosley Cooperative, received a $100,000 grant from the Forbes Under 30 $1 million Change the World competition. And to make it even better, the Socially Responsible Investing Committee has also invested $15,000 in the effort, whose mission is to create cooperative housing based in UU principles and purposes. Our governance working group, where our real wonks do the work, have worked very hard to ensure that we keep a very tight eye on the ends of the association and how we might engage our congregations and communities in a process to renew the ends, to revisit and renew the ends that govern our efforts. As Jim told you, the Congregational Boundaries Working Group has continued its work and will have a re-emphasized and renewed focus on ministerial congregational boundaries in the coming year. As you probably know by now, and if you don't, stick around at 1:15, you'll learn more, there are 3 declared candidates for UUA president, all of whom have been certified. Board members and senior staff gathered with the 3 candidates recently to share our hopes and dreams for the future of Unitarian Universalism. We also have reviewed the oversight structure in place for UUA elections and decided to take a more active role than in past elections by hosting and funding the hosting of 5 candidate forums across the country prior to the election to be held in June of 2017. We've learned a tremendous amount from this process, from the new nomination process, many lessons learned, many opportunities for refinement, and we will get better at this together. And if that isn't enough, we've begun to plan for the creation of a moderator search committee by charging the appointments committee to begin to assemble the team and by specifying the specific attributes needed. That is not to say that Moderator Key is already a lame duck. President Morales and his leadership team presented a thorough and carefully conceived report evaluating the association's progress in pursuit of our stated ends, otherwise known as monitoring, one of the most difficult aspects of policy governance. The board enthusiastically entered into deep and fruitful conversation with the staff as to the implications of their conclusions and the need to find more effective ways to measure the impact of our efforts. It was generally agreed that staff is developing strong evaluative skills and that more baseline information is needed in order to track our progress over time. It is difficult to measure the impact of the association's efforts in congregational and community life, but the board and the administration are committed to that effort. If you have any question about the collaboration that it takes to do this work, please ask a board member. The relationships are strong, The trust is powerful, and we're making real progress against our ends in collaboration with our staff. With deep appreciation and regret, we received the resignation of Susan Weaver, our vice moderator, and enthusiastically expressed our appreciation for her excellent work in behalf of Unitarian Universalism. We also sadly said goodbye to the Reverend Dr. Teresa Cooley, former UUA Program and Strategy Officer, who stepped down after many years of dedicated service. Our very best wishes continue to follow these two outstanding individuals who have been so very important to us. In summary, our progress, in my opinion, as a newcomer, has been nothing short of remarkable. The level of trust, the level of accountability, not only among the board, but among the staff and between the board and the staff, is quite frankly amazing. The year has been marked by a hard-won clarity of purpose and genuine sense of collaboration between the board and the administration. Our communications working group has made every effort to ensure that transparency provides full insight and awareness into the work of the association, which quite frankly is no small task. We have deep appreciation for all of those with whom we have partnered and for all of you who have offered feedback and advice and support. There is much work ahead, but the energy and the spirit and the support that we get from all of you will carry us well into the future. Thank you.